This is our focus wall this week for lesson 28. Our essential question is, how can weather change your day? Our anchor text is the kite from Days with Frog and Toad, and our paired text is measuring weather. Our target skill this week is story structure, and our target strategy is inferring and predicting. We'll also be looking at words with the long I spelling pattern. We'll start with a riddle. You can measure this, but you can't weigh it. What is it? The correct answer is the temperature. Think about other things that you can look for to tell what weather is like. This week, we will read some selections about weather. Describe the weather today to someone at home. Let's take apart some words. I'll say a word, then we will clap the syllables. Then I want you to tell me which sound you hear in the last syllable. Do you hear the long I sound or long E sound? If I say the word happy, which sound do you hear? A long E sound. Let's do some more. Try, story, my, lady. Listen carefully as I say the sounds in the word happy. A, p, e. Say the sounds with me. A, p, e. What is the last sound in happy? The last sound is E. The last sound in the word try is I. The last sound in the word story is E. The last sound in the word my is I. The last sound in lady is E. Listen and answer some listening comprehension questions. Excited and nervous, the children filed into a brightly lit room. They took their places in front of an audience of important leaders, including the President of the United States. For a minute, the whole room was silent. Then, with smiles on their faces, the children began to perform. Music filled the air as children stomped, danced, and sang. Soon, the President had a smile on his face, too. These singers were part of a chorus called the African Children's Choir. The chorus is made up of children who are 7 to 12 years old. They all come from Africa, a large group of countries far from the United States. The children sing many different songs. What clues tell you that this writing is true and not made up? The choir was started by a man named Ray Barnett. Ray was not born in Africa. He was born in Ireland. Many years ago, however, he heard a terrible war happening in Africa. He heard that many children were hurt by the war. They could not go to school. Some of them were sick, but had no money to see a doctor. Some children were separated from their families. Ray decided to visit the place he had heard about. When he got there, he saw what he had heard was true. Ray was determined to do something. He wanted people to know that many African children needed help. However, he also wanted to show the world how talented and special these children were. He formed a chorus of African children. This chorus would sing and perform for money. Ray would use the money to help needy children. How did a man from Ireland start a choir in Africa? Ray's project was a huge success. Today, the African Children's Choir travels all over the world to dance and sing. The children wear traditional African costumes. The costumes are made from colorful cloth and beads. People pay to see the choir perform and buy its CDs. Even though the choir is successful, it changes from one year to the next. The children may sing new songs or wear new costumes. Also, a new group of children is chosen to perform each year. These children are sometimes nervous to leave their homes to travel with the choir. Ray promises the children and their families that they will be safe. He also assures the children that they can attend school when they return home at the end of the year. Many of them would not be able to go to school otherwise. The African Children's Choir has become famous for the energy and enthusiasm it brings to concerts. It has performed for world leaders and even appeared on television. More importantly, it continues to help African children grow up healthy and attend school. It also gives the rest of the world a chance to hear young African singers' bright, hopeful songs. How does the African Children's Choir help African children? I will say a word and then I will change the end of the word. Listen. Might. What is the sound at the end of might? T. Now listen. My. I took away the t and the new word is my. Let's do one together. Say light. Now say lie. What sound did we take away from light to make the word lie? Now let's do some more. Take away the last sound in each of these words. Bite. Past. White. Sheep. Pint. Size. When you take away the last sound in each of these words, you get by, pass, why, she, pine, sigh. Listen, ice cream. Now you say it. Ice cream begins with the long I sound, I. You can hear the sound I in the beginning, middle, or end of a word. Listen to this word, high. The letters IGH in the word high stand for the long I sound. Listen, ice cream. Now you say it. Ice cream begins with the long I sound, I. You can hear the sound I in the beginning, middle, or end of a word. Listen to this word, high. The letters IGH in the word high stand for the long I sound. Listen to the word pie. The letters IE stand for the I in pie. Listen to the word cry. In cry, the Y stands for the long I sound. Listen, t, I. Now blend the sounds. T, I, tie. Pause the video as needed and read lines 1 through 9. Pause the video as needed and read today's decodable reader, Sally Jane and Beth Ann. This week's words to know are second, ball, across, head, heard, large, cried, should. Read each context card. Ask a question that uses one of the blue words. Talk about these words with someone at home. Use 2 of the blue words in a complete sentence. Our target skill this week is story structure. A story has different parts. Characters are people and animals in a story. The setting is when and where a story takes place. The plot tells about the problem and the characters have and how they solve it. Use a story map to tell about the characters, setting, and plot. Our topic this week is weather. Weather can cause problems. Storms can damage homes. Too much rain can lead to floods. The weather can also help us. Rain helps crops grow. Wind helps us fly kites. You will find out if the wind helps Frog and Toad in the kite. Our anchor text this week is The Kite from Days with Frog and Toad. The genre is a fantasy story. Fantasy stories could not happen in real life. As you read, look for events that could not really happen and animals who talk and act like people. Remember, our essential question this week is, how can weather change your day? The kite. Frog and Toad went out to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. Our kite will fly up and up, said Frog. It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky. Toad, said Frog, I will hold the ball of string. You hold the kite and run. Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Toad heard laughter. Three robins were sitting in a bush. That kite will not fly, said the robins. You may as well give up. Toad ran back to Frog. This kite will not fly. I give up. Analyze the text. What problem do Frog and Toad have? We must make a second try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps that will make it fly. Toad ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. What a joke, said the robins. That kite will never get off the ground. Toad ran back to Frog. This kite is a joke, he said. It will never get off the ground. We have to make a third try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly. Toad ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down into the grass. That kite is junk, said the robins. Throw it away and go home. Toad ran back to Frog. This kite is junk, he said. I think we should throw it away and go home. Toad, said Frog, we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head, jump up and down, and shout, up, kite, up. Toad ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. He shouted, up, kite, up. The kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. We did it, cried Toad. Yes, said Frog. If a running try did not work, a running and waving try did not work, and a running, waving, and jumping try did not work, I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work. The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched their kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky.